Welcome to the podcast. Most people don't, but you do. We have great conversations with people that have broken the mold and are doing things differently, sometimes out of necessity, sometimes out of pure creativity. Today's guest has aligned with so many of those stories that we will share soon. Let me introduce Shawn Walcheff. He is founder and CEO of Cali BBQ Media. Do you say barbecue or do you say BBQ?
It doesn't matter to us. The only story that matters is we built a media company on top of our barbecue business.
That's what we're going to be talking about here, Shawn. Gracious that you're able to join us. Thank you very much. The name of the podcast is Most People Don't. The name of our company is Most People Don't. If you had to just answer from your perspective, what do you think you do that most people don't, Shawn?
I have the courage to look stupid, sound stupid, and try new technologies and build in public. There's a lot of incredible business owners. There's a lot of incredible entrepreneurs that have been doing it since the beginning of time. The intersection of technology and the ability to be your own media company, to tell your own story, it's unprecedented. The amount of opportunity we have because of YouTube and because of Apple Podcasts and because of Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all of these different platforms. You just have to have the courage to make videos, to share what you believe in. In the beginning, people will laugh at you and they will make fun of you and they will call you, who do you think you are? Depending on your age, friends, family, we're all on the internet. We all use this magical thing called the internet. I just have the courage to, like I said, get in the middle of the town square and look like an idiot. One of my friends, a podcast guest, actually, he came onto my show and said, Shawn, you know what you do? You start a digital flash mob. I go, what are you talking about? A digital flash mob is you have to have the courage to stand in the town square and you hear the music that nobody else hears and you start dancing. All you need is one other person to hear the music. But the problem is most people are too insecure in themselves, too insecure in what they're building, and they stop dancing before the second person starts dancing.
What a way to think about it, Shawn. Were you always like that as an individual? Were you like that growing up? You did what you thought was right, regardless of not anything about you?
That's a great question. I had a fear of public speaking for sure. I was a captain on sports teams, so whether it was basketball, whether it was football, whether it was tennis, I was always a captain, so leadership wasn't something that I shied away from. But as far as public speaking, getting on a microphone, talking to an audience, talking on a podcast, none of those things were something that came natural to me. It became out of necessity. Part of our story is I'm a restaurant owner here in San Diego. We have 3 restaurant locations. We've been in business for 18 years. We have a location in the stadium at Snapdragon. We have a location on the Navy base, and we have a main smokehouse, and we've been doing that for 18 years. But in the beginning, 2008, when we opened up our business, I thought if you build it, they will come. The biggest lie that's ever been told to entrepreneurs and business owners. The Field of Dreams, the great American baseball movie with Kevin Costner and James Earl Jones, if you build it, they will come. No one's coming. And that's the sad reality of anyone that's in business, is that we hope that we can build a product that's so good that other people are going to tell other people about that product. Unless you're a company like Anthropic or OpenAI, where someone's using ChatGPT and they tell other people and they don't need to do any marketing, you're like everybody else. In the sea of everybody else, the only way to differentiate yourself is to do what others are unwilling to do. Are you willing to do what others are unwilling to do in your category? The problem is that most people, they want a return on investment argument before they start. Well, what is the return on investment for you starting a podcast?
Yeah, for me, starting
Yeah.
one, it was
What's your
minimal. I had
return on
college
investment?
students. The investment was minimal. It was just my time. I had
Yeah.
college students from University of Rhode Island set it up for me 3 years ago, 224 episodes later, minimal. But I was concerned, and I'm learning a lot already from you, Shawn. I was concerned about What if I talk to people and they don't care? What if I post something on LinkedIn or TikTok or Instagram and people don't care? I'm learning through people like you and through David Meltzer and others, that if one person can benefit from something that I'm sharing, then it's worthwhile. If 999 others don't really care or they want to make fun of something, really doesn't bother me because I'm at least helping one person. That's not easy. That does take a lot of confidence. Shawn, back to you. You were in sports, you were a leader. Did you know that you were a great chef when you started your restaurants?
I'm not a great chef. I'm not a
Okay.
great chef and I don't cook, but I'm really good at recruiting talent.
Okay.
One of my greatest gifts is something my grandfather taught me, and that's to stay curious, to get involved, and
Yeah.
to ask for help.
All
Now, I repeat these lessons frequently because curious people will listen to this podcast. Curious people will read books. Curious people will show up at conferences. They will try to continue to improve themselves. But that is only one part of the equation. You actually have to get involved. I remember my grandfather, he asked me when I was growing up, he raised me. I never met my father. And I would go to school, elementary school, middle school, high school, and go, Shawn, are you sitting in front of the class? I go, "What are you talking about, grandpa?" "No, I sit in the back with all my friends that I play sports with." "Why aren't you sitting in front of the class?" And I go, "I don't know, grandpa." He would always ask me, "Why are you not closest to the source of information? Why are you not raising your hand? Why are you not getting involved?"
right.
Because the curiosity brings you to the room, but then you actually have to do something with that curiosity. Then the final step is asking for help. There's so many incredible people that have been there, done that, they've made the mistake. If you're willing and humble enough to ask for help, you can move your business and your life forward.
Wow. I was waiting for you to say most people don't at one of those conversations that you just shared, all those great tidbits. It almost came out, but you were like, most people aren't willing to do what other people should be doing. Most
Yes,
people aren't
most people don't.
courageous. Most people don't stay curious. Most people don't all of these great things.
I
I was
can
like,
redo it for you, no problem.
I like this guy. I like this dude automatically. What was your passion then? And I'm so sorry. I thought naturally because you started restaurants, I thought you had a culinary background. But what was your passion then toward restaurants? Can you walk us through a little bit of that, Shawn?
Sure. My passion is people. I love humans. I'm a sociologist, so I love why people gather where they gather. Hospitality is something that is ingrained in who we are and what we do. Turning a stranger into a friend. You and I have never met. This is the first time we met. Our job is to create a connection. The more connections that you create, you can do that on one to one. You can do that on one to many because of the world that we live in. If you're willing to speak your truth, David Meltzer talks about the truth vibrates the fastest. It's one of my favorite quotes because it's so true. If you go on the internet and you hear someone speaking their truth, you pay attention. When you see somebody selling something and they're telling you, you can feel when you're getting sold. Yet you can feel when someone speaks the truth. I go to trade shows, conferences. We have a media company. I cover the biggest restaurant shows, the biggest tech shows in our space. And I'll go and I'm invited to go on panels. I'm invited to keynote. And my goal every time that I get the mic is to speak the truth.
Mhm.
Now, there's plenty of organizers that'll give you a script and these are the questions that we're going to ask. And it's all BS because ultimately, what does the person in the room want? They want the truth. They want the failure. They want, when did you fall down? Because everyone gets up and they want to talk about the success. Tell me about all this failure. Help me avoid the pain.
Yeah. And what did you learn by staying curious? And how can you then teach it to other people? And that's what I like about the podcast element. I know some things about you, great. Your team shared some things about me, but it wasn't like I'm going to ask question A, B, C, and D, and you're prepared for it. In fact, when people have me on their shows, I don't want to know what the questions are because
Yeah.
I don't want to sound rehearsed. I want to be able to speak from the heart. That's exactly what you're doing, Shine. Again, cannot thank you enough. Did restaurants and hospitality just naturally fit the need for your curiosity to establish relationships with more people? Is that why you chose restaurants?
I would say restaurants chose me. I grew up in a restaurant. My grandfather, when I was 13 years old, I started bussing tables and washing dishes at a family restaurant that he owned. He was a medical doctor that got into real estate, and one of those real estate properties was a restaurant. I actually hated the restaurant business growing up because it took me away from sports and it took me away from relaxing on the weekends because I actually had to go and work 13, 14, 15, 16. As I was growing up, I was driving from La Jolla to Spring Valley to do something that was, I thought at the time, beneath me. But now I know it was the greatest gift because I got to realize that the people in Spring Valley are just like the people in La Jolla, or just like the people in Bulgaria, or just like the people in New York. We're all the same. We all have stuff that we deal with. We all are creatures of habit. And the things that connect us all is that hospitality, is that friendship, is that familiarity. I've found in the hospitality business, it allows me to do what I'm great at, which is lean into my curiosity, ask questions, figure out where people are from, what makes them tick, what likes they have, how do they enjoy their barbecue, how do they enjoy spending time on the weekends. All of those things are what makes a great hospitality business.
What do you think? Why are you so thirsty to find this out, Shawn? And I'll tell you a little bit more about me sometime, but what makes you so thirsty to figure this out, to find out what makes other people tick, to find out what they enjoy, what other people enjoy doing? Why do you think you're so thirsty for that?
Because there's magic in connecting the dots. A, B, C, D, always be collecting the dots
Mm,
so that you can A, B, C, D, always be connecting the dots. The more dots that you collect, the more that you can connect. All of it is all connected. The
mhm,
more that I lean into restaurants, the more that I lean into technology, and I work with startup companies and publicly traded companies like Toast and Pepsi and US Foods and Amazon and Google. We've done media for all of these brands. The
mhm.
more that I do it, the more that I realize whether the company has 160,000 employees or whether they have 3, they're all trying to figure out the same thing. They're all trying to move their business forward. They're all trying the best they can to make an impact. The world that we live in, I get to travel this summer. I'm going to London and Dublin with Toast, who's my biggest media partner,
Mm,
and I'm going to be telling stories in restaurants and bars and hotels that are going to mimic the stories that I tell in New York. They're going to mimic the ones that I tell in Las Vegas, the ones that I tell in Miami. All of these things, they're all connected. The restaurants, the way that we serve people, how we get up every single day. Every business is a family business. Just recently, I got back from New York City. I got asked by Toast to go. They launched a Built for Busy campaign and they took over Times Square, the New York Stock Exchange, one of the biggest billboards in Times Square. They had a huge launch for 5 minutes. It was all a branded Toast commercial. I was the influencer that was asked to go and interview their chief marketing officer to announce this campaign to the world. I brought my wife, I brought my son,
mm,
8-year old, I brought my daughter, 6 years old, because I wanted them to be a part of this moment. This wasn't about me. This
yeah,
wasn't about Toast. This was about all of the people that work in hospitality that build for busy. We build for busy because most of the world complains about busy. In the hospitality business, you're out of business if you're not busy.
agreed. Agreed. I grew up in Pittsburgh and with the NFL draft happening in Pittsburgh, seeing a
Amazing.
lot of different videos from people, and they're talking about this part of town was very busy, but this part wasn't. These restaurants were ready and willing, and there's so much pride. And it really relates to what you just said. We're built for busy. They wanted they wanted people to come to the strip district. They wanted everyone to buy a Permane Brothers sandwich to be able to experience it. So it's very unique. And I think your approach is really special that it's not selfish what you're doing, Shawn. Do you agree? Connecting
I
with people.
believe that in order to truly be selfless, you
Mhm.
have to be selfish first.
Yeah.
And that is one of the hardest lessons that I've ever learned is that I have to take care of myself, especially in the hospitality business. That goes back to asking for help. It
Mm.
is so hard to ask for help when now we live in a world of AI where I can go to ChatGPT or Claude and ask for any answer and somehow have a world class, you name it, CFO, CMO in my pocket to give me advice. There's still a human somewhere that's figured it out, that's gone through all the pain and struggles, that's willing to answer the question if I'm willing to ask for help.
Agreed. There's something that I just termed, and I'm registering it for trademark. It's a term called humanality.
Cool.
So humanality. It really came as a result. I was doing some work with an apartment complex, a company, 500 units across the country, and I was trying to help them with a revised sales strategy. I was interviewing a lot of their sales leasing consultants, and I just started to ask more and more questions. And what happened was I wanted to understand, how were they inserting that human kindness into a transaction? How were they inserting empathy and gratitude and perseverance and sympathy? Just by accident, I said, "Where were you inserting humanality?" And I didn't even realize that was not really a word. And then I told a couple of friends, and they're like, "You better use that." In the element of AI, you're absolutely, it's how we make people feel is a differentiator. How we make people feel. Do you make them feel welcome and cared for? In fact, I was doing work with another restaurant group recently, and the whole point was they realized that customers don't want to feel processed. They want to feel cared for. Sometimes technology enables that processing element, but then there's a person holding that toast. What's it called? What are they calling it? The device? They have
The
a term.
handheld, that's just a toast handheld. Yep.
Yeah. Are they calling it a slice or something? I thought a restaurant would.
No, it's not a
Okay.
slice.
Yeah.
It's just a handheld.
They're holding the handheld. It's easy for me to sign it. It's easy for me to do those things, but it was about the person and the experience that made me want to tip 25% instead
Yep.
of 18%. It's about the person. I want to get back, Shawn, to when you opened up your 3 restaurants and you said, "Now you're built for busy, but no one came." Tell us a little bit about the failures, because you're being real, or what you learned from that, how you were able to turn it around, and then maybe our listeners can begin to learn more about ideas for themselves. What happened
Sure.
with those 3 restaurants?
It's in the beginning, we only had one, and that one struggled. We struggled to pay payroll. We struggled to pay our vendors. We struggled to come up with product market fit. We weren't even a barbecue restaurant when we opened. It was a breakfast restaurant. We added dinner. We added a sports bar. We started doing events. Eventually, we stayed in business for 5 years, and I was really proud of the work that we had done because we're off the beaten path, not in a very highly trafficked part of San Diego, in an eclectic neighborhood. And I thought, this is a really good story. We provide great barbecue. We have great hospitality, great reviews. We give back to the community. We're celebrating 5 years. Maybe a local writer for the Union Tribune, our San Diego paper, is going to come and write about us. Maybe a magazine is going to write about us. Maybe Fox 5 or CBS, they want to do a story about our restaurant. Bought some books on public relations and how to write a press release, and got really excited and said, "This is our story, and let me go and figure out what a press release is," and then emailed it off to at least 14 different writers here in San Diego, news stations, producers. And you know what happened?
It went out there and didn't change business.
Nothing happened. Crickets. No one came. No one responded. No one gives a shit. Maybe it was a story that wasn't worth telling, but at that point, I made a decision that I was going to use every tool in my pocket,
Mhm.
meaning every single piece of technology that was available for us to tell our story. Whoever was going to listen, and hopefully they liked what we were saying, and maybe they came in and bought some ribs and brought some brisket, and maybe they brought a friend and enjoyed a birthday peach cobbler. But I wasn't going to go out of business depending on other people, depending on legacy media. And that was a real big shift about 5 years into our business, where we started doing things differently. And all restaurant owners hate Yelp. I started claiming our Yelp page, and I started responding to every Yelp review, creating this one-on-one engagement with someone that wrote a 1-star review, someone that wrote a 5-star review. Every single review, for about 1,600 reviews when we were first open, I responded to every single one. I did it immediately once they responded. Like, I got a notification and then I got on the phone, responded immediately, because I care about what I call digital hospitality. It's one of our longest running podcasts. We produce 15 different shows, some of them for brands, some of them internal. I have a show called Restaurant Influencers with Entrepreneur Magazine, but digital hospitality is our longest running show. We've been doing that for 9 years. And the thesis is that every business needs to build digitally first. And every business is in the hospitality business, whether they know it or not. How I treat a human that walks into my restaurant at my host stand is the same way that I need to treat a human that sends me a message on Instagram, that
Agreed.
sends me a LinkedIn DM, that comments on a post, that writes a review, that comes in and asks for directions. Every digital person is a human. Obviously, now there's some bots, but there's a way to filter through that and figure out if you treat every single touch point of your business that comes to your website, that sends you an email, and you respond to them immediately, not 3 days later, not 5 days later, you
Mhm.
win. Why? Because we live in an Amazon world. People don't want to wait. Time is the most valuable thing that we all have.
Yep, the immediate gratification. So, Sean, I just want to go back to, okay, you hired all these people, you did press releases, you got books, you learned, you were curious, and nothing happened. Is that when you started responding on Yelp? Is that when you started telling your story differently?
100%. Yep.
Is that in summarize, what was your story? Why did people want to know? Tell us the name of the first restaurant, by the way.
Cali barbecue.
Okay, Cali Barbecue. Got it. Cali Barbecue Media, got it. What was the story? Was it about service or was it about the food or was it about the associates, the employees?
It was about all of it.
Okay.
The problem we teach restaurant owners, business owners, storytelling tactics, and the number one piece of advice we have is be the show, not the commercial. The problem that people and business owners have is they think that social media is where they need to have a call to action. I make a video, so you buy a thing. And I will tell you right now that no one, I don't care how old you are, goes to social media to watch a commercial. No
Mhm.
one wants to be advertised to. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm against commercials, but 99% of commercials are bad because you feel like you're getting sold to.
Mhm.
If you feel like you're getting sold to, you're not going to engage. But if you entertain and you educate, you can tell a story and then people buy in.
Yeah.
People want to buy from humans. People want to know the story. The problem is the story is not going to get you those viral videos. People think that the answer is more numbers. The answer is, oh, I need a video to get 10,000 views. I need a video to get 100,000 views. You need one human to watch the video to go, I like what Bart is saying. I'm
Mhm.
buying into Bart's methodology. I want to be a part of Bart's course. I want to show up when Bart gives a speech. I want to listen to his podcast. When Bart writes a book, I want to buy his book and I'm going to tell another person because that goes back to the digital flash mob. You need one other person that sees the world the same way that you do, that's willing to challenge you, but's
Yeah.
willing to celebrate you, that's willing to dance in the town square. Because once you have that, a rising tide lifts all. And the problem is, it just takes time. It
Yeah.
takes way longer than anyone gives it credit for. It took me longer. It took me 5 years of podcasting,
Yeah.
5 years of having a media company, spending my money, my
Yeah.
restaurant money, my wife's money into this crazy idea until we finally got our first six-figure sponsor. Five
Mhm.
years later. The only reason we had that is because we started another podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. It's storytelling, not being sold to, connecting with like-minded individuals. I'm even thinking about the dance mob or the flash mob, as you were describing. There are people that are going to want to get up because they see you having fun or doing something.
Yep.
And they see that maybe you're not the best dancer, but that doesn't matter because they like the song, they like the music, they want to just have fun. In fact, I just saw a video the other day. Someone was dancing truly by themselves. It was like in Central Park. When that person started, then other people started. And then you could see 50 people then having fun. It just started with one. Tell your story. You had referenced, be confident, don't care what other people think of different solutions, use your resources, ask for help. And there was something just recently that happened. My wife and I were traveling. My wife is in the business with me. She's our VP of partnerships. We went to a coffee shop in Seattle, and it's called Storyville Coffee.
Amazing.
I'll share just with you quickly to just show that I'm buying what you're I'm not buying, I'm embracing what you're sharing, Sean. But we went to this place and the coffee, I've never paid so much for coffee. It was $13 for a cup of coffee. It wasn't that outrageous. It wasn't really special, unique ingredients, but it was a great cup of coffee. Anyway, when we sat down, there was a person, their only job was to bring glasses of water to the people that sat down. I was blown away. I've been to a lot of different places and I never saw a casual coffee place bringing water. And then I saw on the back of their t-shirts of the uniforms, it says something about love everyone or embrace everyone or welcome everyone. When they asked me for the order, they said, what can we create for you today? It wasn't, what kind of coffee do you want? What
Mhm.
can we create for you? And then I was just so blown away by watching the interaction because with my Ritz-Carlton background in hospitality, that's what I do. Just like you watch and observe everything and you find out who is over delivering and why. I asked them the question. I said, why do you deliver water to everyone? "Well, because most people don't. Most organizations don't do that. Great. Why did you welcome me that way? Because most people don't welcome you that way. And they said this, they wanted the stay, the experience to last longer than the coffee. They wanted you to go in there, plug
Mhm.
in, have a good conversation, maybe do some work, chat with someone, but to have the experience last longer than the coffee. I was just blown away. And I've been telling this to probably thousands and thousands of people, which goes back to your messaging. You tell one person, they buy into it, they believe in it, they sign up for the email, they get the free coffee mug, and then that makes everything else rise.
100%.
Phenomenal. Shawn, for our listeners, how can they support you? I know you're very busy. Your Cali BBQ media company is jamming. Is there anything that they can do to help you and your company?
The most powerful thing you can do if you listen to this today and you have not made a video for your business, make a video on whatever platform you're comfortable. If you're comfortable on Facebook, make a video on Facebook telling the world who you are and why you're building the company that you're building. Tag me in the video. I will repost it. I will share it. I am grateful. I'm weirdly available. You can find me at Shawn P. Walcheff, ShawnPWalchef. That's Instagram's the fastest, but LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, all the platforms, I'm weirdly available. But this is about you. One of my favorite quotes is of Arthur Ashe: do what you can with what you have and start today.
Wow.
You have
Absolutely.
everything you need. You don't need a media team. You
Yeah.
have every single one has a smartphone and internet in your hands. The excuse is that you just have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
And why not? It doesn't matter. Why not? Most people are going to listen to this, but I believe our listeners will do what most people don't do. Just film a video. And you are giving me reminders for myself. I have a lot of videos out there of me speaking on stage in front of 3,000 people. Great. But do I really have a video talking about why I chose to do this and why, when I had a heart attack 7 years, it made me reevaluate things and why I have panic attacks to this day and how I had an out of body experience when I was a kid? I include that in some of my keynotes, which is meaningful. But why wouldn't I tell that people, that listeners, that in the beginning, this is who I am and this is what I believe in. This is why I'm doing it. Why not? Do I think people are going to judge me? Who cares? It's my story. They
100%.
don't have to agree with it. It's simply my story. Shawn, you have opened up my eyes tremendously. Shawn Walcheff, Walchef. He is CEO and founder of Cali BBQ Media, as he referenced. Follow him, listen to his podcast, his
Come to
website.
San Diego, come eat barbecue. Please send me a message. Tell me you heard me on Bart's show. I will show up at the restaurant. I will give you a behind the scenes tour. We will
Ugh.
get you some wicked peach cobbler. We'll get you some brisket. People come to San Diego all the time, but nothing makes me more happy than someone that listens to a podcast and they send me a message and they go, "Hey, I'm coming to San Diego, or my family's coming to San Diego." That's an audience of one. So we're grateful that you guys are listening.
Oh, so fun. Shawn, thank you so much. My wife went to school at San Diego State, so
There it
we
is.
will definitely make our way out there.
No,
And
you're that's happening.
last question, I promise. We started by asking, what do you do that most people don't? You said you make things happen. You don't worry about what other people think. You tell stories. Thinking about in general, most people don't blank. We talked about what you do, but what would you say most people don't do? Because we're trying to
Ask
change
for
that.
help. I
Ask
don't
for
think
help.
most people ask for help.
Yeah. And Shawn, what I learned from you, ask for help, be curious, be in the front of the room, raise your hand, offer praise to your grandfather that raised you, be the source of information, stay close, surround yourself with great people. tell your story.
Yep.
Tell your story. What I love about you already, Shawn, you're making yourself available. You're making yourself available for me, for my listeners.
Always.
Now, for anybody, you want to reach out to Shawn when you're in San Diego, Cali Barbecue, you definitely need to. Tremendous gentleman. I cannot thank you enough, Shawn. Truly appreciate it, and I'm proud to know you now.
Bart. Keep in touch.
Certainly will.
We will see you soon.